Hello, everyone. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, anywhere you are around the world. Welcome once again to today's Global Africa Developer Scholarship Team GCP 6767. We are now on our locking section, and this team by God's grace is being mentored by Ahmad Bajoy. So GAD is actually a Google Africa Developer Scholarship that is being given to the society or to the youth or to tech students or communities who want to advance their knowledge in technology. So one of the platforms that they use or supporters that will have is Andela, Pluralsight, and Google. So we are saying thanks to them for giving us this platform to enhance and learn more things that will enable us to succeed in the future. Now, let's discuss a little bit about cloud computing. So, although today we are into a meeting, here is the agenda of today's meeting. One of the things we are going to be discussing today is brief introduction. We'll discuss on cloud computing, we discuss on assessment criteria, we discuss on availability. There's a meeting time when the mentor will be available that you can contact or reach her on. So, introduction, like I said earlier, I'm Ahmad Bajoy, the mentor for this group, Team GCP-067 on that card. So here we have Victor, we have other participants from different areas in the world. So I know they would love to say hi. So now let's go straight to the point. Now, brief discussion of cloud computing. I know most of us don't really understand what this cloud computing is all about. So let's have a little discussion about this cloud computing, what it is about, and the things actually we need to do to make it a success. Okay, let's talk about briefly about what cloud computing is all about. Like I said, cloud computing is the delivery of on-demand computing services from applications to storage and process power, typically over the internet and on a pay-as-you-go basis. Once we talk about cloud computing, we talk about you trying to carry your machine over from carry your documents or your data from your local machine to another person's machine that is over on the cloud. We're not talking about the cloud that you're saying actually, but we are talking about someone else's machine that is kind of higher than your own. So the cloud computing actually means delivering on a demand computing service from application to storage and processing power, typically over the internet, and it's a process of pay as you go, not that you just pay everything, like buy everything, and maybe at the end of the day, just make use of 10% of what you want to use. So how does cloud computing actually work? Rather than owning their own computing infrastructure or data center, companies can rent access to anything from application to storage from a cloud device provider. One of the benefits of using cloud computing services is that firms that avoid the upfront costs and complexity of owning and maintaining their own IT infrastructure, and instead simply pay for what they use and when they use it. You know, there is this particular thing, maybe you went and buy a hosting plan or at the end of the day, or that kind of pay as you go, at the end of the day, you discover that you make use of only one, or you make use of only 5% of the actual thing you bought, and at the end, until will not expire. So that one is not cost effective, but cloud computing actually help you to manage cost in that aspect. That is what I'm trying to say. So what cloud computing services are available. Cloud computing services cover a vast range of options now, from the basis of storage, networking, and processing power through a natural storage, processing, and artificial intelligence, as well as standard office applications. Sorry for that. So pretty much many service that doesn't require you to be physically close to the computer hardware that you are using cannot be delivered via the cloud. So what are the examples of this cloud computing that we're talking about? Cloud computing underpins a vast number of services that include consumer services like email or the cloud backup of the photos on your smartphone. Like Google built something we call drives. So the drive itself is actually a cloud computing for us because we kind of save our documents or our files on the drives. So it's a cloud computing, and although that one is kind of free, we are not paying for it unless you get the advanced pack of it. So your Google email also is a cloud computing because you save your messages there. Though to the services which allow large enterprise to host all data and run all of the application in the cloud. So one of the companies or the large companies that we know that make use of this cloud computing is Netflix. Most of us make use of Netflix, like we stream videos online. So Netflix actually store much of their data in the cloud. So cloud computing is becoming the default option for many apps. Software vendors are increasingly offering the application as service over the internet rather than standalone product as they try to switch to the subscription model. You get it? So actually, learning cloud computing is not a bad thing because it's one of the technologies that we need in this our day-to-day activity, like in the future. That's cloud computing is actually the thing. So why is it called cloud computing? Because some people were like, when cloud computing is not actually on the cloud that we all know, and why do we call it cloud computing? Okay, let's just take a look at a fundamental concept behind cloud computing is that the location of the service and many of the details, such as the hardware or operating system on which it is running, are largely irrelevant to the user. That is to say that what I'm trying to say actually is cloud computing here is we don't bother much about the hardware devices that you make use of, although might be bothered, and also maybe the operating system that you're actually running on, because that one has been taken care of by your vendors. So you are more concerned about the services they are being rendered and what the things you are consuming at the end of the day. So what is the history of cloud computing? Cloud computing as a term has been around since the early 2000s, but the concept of computing as a service has been around for much actually. So I'm not going detail into these jargons about when much longer or as far as the 1960s when it comes to play and how people make use of it, or when it's run from 1960 and the great computing of the late 1960s and early 2000s. This was following or by following the cloud computing concept. But let's talk about how important the cloud computing is. Building an infrastructure to support cloud computing now accounts for more than 1,000 of all IT spreading worldwide. So cloud computing also help you to save costs in your organization, because that's one of the basic things, because everyone wants to cut down cost or what they spent in building some infrastructures. So you have to save some kind of money to build it. You don't have to bother much about it. So let's just look at cloud computing services that you look at. We have infrastructure as a service. We have software as a service, and you have platform as a service. So we have different types of services that you render on a cloud. So I'm not really entering much into this cloud stuff. So I just want to give you a hint of what cloud and what you're going to expect. And cloud is actually the most, or one of the things that once you venture into or you know how to do it, you can easily get a job out there and get something doing for yourself without having to wait for companies to employ you and this kind of a thing. You can be rendering services for companies, they can come and buy from you, or you can be rendering services for Amazon, for Google Cloud, and that's what we are. So just try to utilize the opportunity of learning cloud that Google and Andela have provided for us. So let's talk about the assessment criteria. One of the things or the key values or the things I'll be considering to assess your work is the time you spend on previous site studying your courses, because that is actually the most important part, because you need to learn, you keep learning and also making use of what you learned in, based on hands-on, and also the time you spent in assisting others. Because assisting of other people, like assisting people to do their work, is one of the things, is known as one of the, is the core value of teamwork. So try to assist one another in the area the person is finding difficult to do, or one thing or the other. Just render your help of assistance to that particular person. So then the assistance can be based on our Slack group, that is actually the group chat we make use of, the official group chat, or the WhatsApp group where you can easily get access to me. So just try to render your help to one or two persons, and that would be one of the criteria to get the best criteria ever. Because there's a saying that goes, once you, if you want to learn, or the best way of learning things well is by teaching. So if you teach others, you can easily learn.